Hey everyone! Super excited. I have a brand new mic which I've hidden in my hair here, so hopefully the audio quality on my videos is far better now. But today I wanted to talk about a really important subject, like super important. It's about jihad. We only hear about the really big jihadi attacks that are happening. We haven't had one in a couple months in Canada, but I'm sure it's about to happen again. When I wanted to do the series of videos, which is comparing our Canadian values and laws with Islamic law and the Sharia, which is trying to impose itself here, I can't really compare in this case because there is nothing in Canadian values that even looks like jihad. So what is jihad? I think I'm going to start with talking about what jihad is. Jihad is, it's really, okay, you know what? Okay, scratch that. I'm not going to tell you what jihad is. Let me tell you what Mohammed says about jihad. So here we go. I have it right here. This is in, it's Sahih Bukhari, and it's book 1, volume 3, Hadith number 125, and I'm just going to read it right here. This is what Mohammed said. The man who fights to make Islam dominant is the man who fights for Allah's cause. There you go. Notice he hasn't said you're trying to make Islam coexist, or you're trying to make Islam work alongside with other religion. It's very clear that Mohammed said you have to make it dominant. Oh my gosh, my neighbor's dog is barking. I don't know if you guys can pick it up on here, but hopefully not. Okay, so back to Mohammed saying that. And not only did he say that, but in the last part of his life, he actually carried out a lot of jihadi attacks himself. And if you remember a video I did previously, I had said that Mohammed is, in the Quran, it said 91 times that they have to imitate the Prophet. So he's the perfect human being and they have to imitate everything he did. So there you go. When you put together the fact that they have to imitate what Mohammed did, and we know Mohammed carried out jihadi attacks himself, and then he actually mandates his followers to carry out attacks to establish Islam as a dominant ideology over all else, then you have the doctrine of jihad. Now, there's a couple different kinds of jihad. 9/11 was the big explosive kind, very dramatic, and that is the time where my eyes were open to what Islam is, and since then I've been looking into this. And every time that I see a building now, I don't know if anybody else is like that out there, but I can't look at a freaking skyscraper anymore since 9/11 without seeing a plane, imagining a plane going through. And I can be in any city or look at any image of tall skyscrapers. That's all I see. That's all I see. All I see is an airplane going into it. So that's how engraved in my brain that day was, and that's what woke me up to what is happening here. So now that we know what jihad is, the kinds of jihad. So there's jihad of the sword. That's the 9/11 example, or taking a U-Haul truck and plowing it into a bunch of people, or taking a sword in the streets of England and slashing heads off. That's also another form of jihad by the sword. But there's other kinds. So jihad of the writing, so jihad of the pen. And this is one that is really scary for us in North America because it's happening in so many different outlets that it's impossible to keep track of all of them. But jihad of the pen, for example, when you see an article in a newspaper and it explains how Islam is a religion of peace, it's either written by somebody who has no idea. They've never read any Islamic doctrine text, and they're writing that stuff because they heard somebody else say it, which makes them pretty dumb and dangerous. Or it's an actual deliberate act to pull the wool over your eyes and make sure that you don't yourself go in and look into this. So Islam is peace. No, Islam is not peace. Islam means submission, and it's not a religion of peace. And if you read the Quran and you read the Sunnah of Muhammad, you realize that it's not at all a religion of peace. It's not even a religion, it's a whole ideology. So anybody that can prove me wrong, please go ahead. I'd love to hear that. But anyways, so that was jihad of the pen. There's jihad of money. When people give money to jihadis or families who will support via financial means a jihadi attack, that's considered to be part of jihad of the money. So you don't even have to blow yourself up. You can just give money to the people who make the bombs, and you're considered a jihadi in the eyes of the Islamic doctrine. So if we want examples, I have one that happened really recently. I'm not sure exactly how to frame that one. It was the hijab hoax. So y'all remember January, there was this 11-year-old who said that she got attacked and somebody took a pair of scissors. She said it was an Asian, and the Asian Canadians are very upset about that. But that he followed her, took a pair of scissors, cut the hijab, and then came back 10 minutes later when she was walking to school and cut it again after she was supposedly with a bunch of people. So a lot of people called out really initially that this story didn't make any sense, and it was proven 3 days later by the Toronto police that it actually was a hoax. It didn't happen. This is an example of jihad portraying themselves as a victim and trying to make it look like we are so bad and so intolerant of Muslims, so that now the government has to step in and enforce additional laws that strictly protect Muslims. That's a form of jihad. That's the imposition of Sharia right under our noses. Canadian law protects all Canadian citizens. This is what happens when you live in a Canadian, in a secular democracy, is you have one set of laws and everybody has to abide by them. Islamic law has laws for Muslims and laws for everybody else. And everybody else has to follow the Islamic law doctrine once it's imposed into a country. So this is where we know that the compatibility is is a big question. Is it compatible? That's what I'm trying to expose here in this series of videos. But the jihad part of it is really, really the scary one, because there's a lot of money going into it that we don't even know. The Saudis are behind a lot of the Muslim student associations in our school, in our universities, and they are also in charge of redoing a lot of our textbooks. So if you have kids in school, read their textbooks and try to see if anything is a little weird. You know, if it says Islam was so peaceful and it's been going on for 1400 years, advancing peacefully, that's jihad of the pen. Maybe I should make another video on the whole history of Islam. I've been studying it, and it's quite interesting how they really have taken over a lot by the sword, but now they're in a phase where they have to do more of the jihad by money and jihad by the pen. All right, so there you have it. Jihad, it's everywhere, and we have to wake up. We have to wake up from the complacency and from the lull we are under, and really open our eyes so that our children, our grandchildren, can live in the type of free society that we have lived in, and so we can pass along this society that we grew up in to them, and not betray them by handing them over a subpar civilization to what we have now. So let me know your thoughts on this, and I wish everyone has a great day.